Ladies and gents, how are you doing? I've had a few requests to make slightly longer videos. I thought 10 minutes was about the sweet spot, but we'll do a little bit extra today, and that's a good coincidence because there's 3 stories I'm going to cover today. I couldn't decide between them, to be honest. There's obviously the spring statement we're going to need to talk about because, well, it was delivered by Rachel Reeves.
She's a spastic.
Yes, she is, Mr. Skinhead. It was prescient putting that clip up there, wasn't it? So we're going to talk about that. She's a complete mental case. The maddest woman in the loony bin with a briefcase. That's what she is. We've also got another good story we can have a quick chat about, which is Shabana Mahmood.
Some of it was fun.
Yes, you deserve that, Chabs. Talking about it's beggars belief. Beggars belief. They're going to open up new, further safe and legal routes to welcome in anyone who says they're Iranian. Brilliant. Yeah, because you know what? In the last few years, I've really got a feeling, sort of like the last decade, that the one thing the British people are asking for is millions more migrants. Yeah, definitely. That's what the people are desperate for, more people to move to the UK, aren't they? No, they aren't. If you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm. Oh yeah, and I've got one more story to cover because, well, it wouldn't be an angry Bootneck video without some swarthy buggery, would it? Okay, first things first, Rachel from Accounts is an absolute mental case. Even the Lefty Independent has published this, saying that she's being accused of being tone deaf on energy prices. And despite the fact that growth forecasts have been cut again and unemployment's rising again, and the Chancellor's warning about big risks from the Iran war, she said she's doing a grand job, apparently. Funny thing is, though, even the lefty-lovey BBC are having a pop. When the lefty-lovey diddler BBC is slagging off a Labour Chancellor, you know you've shit the bed, Rachel. You know. You have peppered your pyjamas and you've done a grand slam on your new memory format. You're going to have to burn it. You'll never get the stains out, you filthy bitch. Darshini David, the Deputy Economics Editor, is scathing, and he works for the BBC. He said the Chancellor's spring statement gave us one less thing to worry about. No new tax rises today. Yeah, there are tax rises. Stealth taxes. As he says here, don't be fooled. Taxes are still set to rise. Most significant is fiscal drag, where the thresholds that apply to different rates of tax on income are frozen. But Tuesday's forecasts show that the tax burden, the proportion of the nation's income going to the government, is set to rise further to a historic high of 38% by 2031. It's higher than that. It's much higher than that. This fella's sage enough to bring up productivity, for example, and says that in public services, including the NHS, obviously, and the law courts, they remain less efficient than prior to the pandemic. And that's not to mention downgraded growth, mass unemployment, and the dread of inflation, which she claims she's brought down. It's a fiction. I'd also point out that if something's far, far, far too high and you bring it down 0.1%, it's hardly a reason for celebration, is it? If 14 Somalian pirates take over my living room, I'm not over the moon when one of them leaves, but one of the remaining 13's just wiped his ass on the curtains. And if you go around the bazaars, everybody's complaining about it. The farmers are whinging about it, saying she doesn't recognise the value of food and farming to the economy. The Telegraph's whinging about austerity, which is probably one of the only things I'd give her any credit for if she actually manages to cut any spending. And I think one of the worst aspects of it is how much you lot are going to be paying for your energy bills. I've told you before, my gas, water and electricity out here is about $70 a month or something, combined. You're going to get absolutely reamed by the energy providers, and this would be a perfect time to cut regulations and get us using our own resources, wouldn't it? Look for more oil offshore, start fracking in the northeast. No, none of it's happening because Red Ed Millipede is still on his insane act of self-harm, taxing you till your plums ache, thinking your misery and your granny who's just lost 2 toes to hypothermia, that's going to make up for the fact that China's building 30 coal power plants this year. You really couldn't make this shit up, could you? So anyway, if you want to read a good piece about it, I'll put that BBC link on. It's not a bad one. And yeah, you're knackered. You're knackered. The Labour government, as usual, has decimated the British economy. And that's all there is to say about it. It only goes downhill from here. Moving on to the next story of the day, Shabzy Mac said Britain is an open, tolerant and generous country. I will open new capped, safe and legal routes to provide safety to those fleeing war. And she's put a nice photo saying we will open more safe and legal routes. More of them. With a nice photo of a little girl. It's weird that, isn't it? It's weird because I've seen like 500 or 600 photos of people coming ashore in the UK in the last few years, and I don't think I've ever seen a little girl. No. You know what I have seen? You know what I've seen loads of? Big hairy-ass men with big swinging ball sacks, and they're all moving in to neighbourhoods near you. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The British people have complained about mass migration for at least 25 years. And Shabzy Mac, because she's a traitor, and I'm not making this up, she's told us this herself. I mean, do you want me to quote her? You remember this, don't you? When she was appointed as the first ever snack bar chancellor, and she openly came out and said her faith is a driving force in her life. You do remember that, don't you? She said that her faith shapes her approach to politics, and she is definitely a practicing snack bar enthusiast. So, I mean, I'd suggest that makes her unsuitable for office, because we've complained about immigration for 25 years, but she wants to bring another 10 million in because, as she tells us happily, her devotion to her faith is absolute. So that's why she's doing it. The exact opposite of what you, the people, her bosses, want. She's doing it because she's a religious fundamentalist. I think that's treason, and in the good old days, she'd have been hanged, drawn and quartered, and then tourists could go and visit her head on a spike next to Tower Bridge. Finally, she might actually bring us some revenue in instead of emptying the coffers. So this story's all bollocks. It's the exact opposite of what you wanted, and there's no little girls on the boat. There's big hairy-ass men, which takes us neatly, wonderful segue, into our last story of the day. From the Scottish Sun, teenage boy suddenly develops a problem with his rear aperture in a Scottish town as cops launch hunt for a diddler. Grand news from north of the border. In what is surely a turnout for the books, the warped suspect is believed to be, yes, you guessed it, a white man, which is why the coppers released a description of the suspect, isn't it? Because they wouldn't have said jack shit about what he looked like if the lad said, I guess he had a bit of an Idris Elba look about him. Even on the off chance it happens to be a Scotsman, right? On the 1,000,000 to 1 chance he's called Angus McDogshit and he's from a sink estate in Las Vegas, right? I'll eat here with a donkey. But even if that happens, it's just more proof of the decline of the UK, because this stuff never used to happen 20 years ago, which is why I think it's absolute bollocks. I guarantee this bloke ends up an Albo or a Romanian or a Lithuanian, like Arnis Zalkans, who killed Alice Gross. He was a Lithuanian, wasn't he? We've had loads of problems with them. I'll take anyone's money that this bloke isn't a Glaswegian. But I might be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you don't like the longer form stuff, I will knock it on the head. YouTube seems to like the shorter form content, to be honest. I only did that little roundup by request. So let me know if it does shite. I'll go back to just the one. And I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, Toodle Pip. Cheers.